Right, you guys, got another video here for you on how to fix and troubleshoot the Ryzen 2400G graphics display driver problem that you may be having with your computer. Now, when you boot up your computer, you may be getting some weird things going on, like split screen display, or black screen, white screen, or you may be also getting some sort of issue with it, which is causing you problems to get any sort of display at all. Now you can see here we're getting a black bit on one side and a bit of small graphics on the other. Then it goes all black here, and then what will happen is we start to get a split screen, as in like dual monitor setup, which is very strange. Now we're using the built-in Vega graphics, which is on the 2400G Ryzen 5 processor, and this may be a bit of a concern for some people because they may be thinking this is some sort of a hardware issue. But my gut feeling tells me that it's a driver issue, and that's what we're going to be troubleshooting here on how to try and resolve it. So you can see here at the moment we're getting a dual screen display here on a single monitor. Now I've checked all the Windows settings and there's no problem there, but then all of a sudden this happened and I got a white screen. Now you can't do anything here with the white screen, so you can't touch the computer, you won't be able to see anything because the white screen has completely blurred out everything and you won't be able to do anything. So what I'm going to try and do here is pull the HDMI cable out and then plug it back in to see if I get some sort of display on the screen here. So I'm just going to quickly pull this out and then plug it back in and see if there's any sort of display, and it comes back up. So I know there's some sort of issue with a driver there because it's switching off, and it could be hardware related or software related, and that's what we're going to be troubleshooting here to find out where the problem lies. Now, as I've said, my gut feeling tells me it's a driver issue, and we need to find out why this is happening. So I've quickly restarted the computer here, and what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the device manager. Now I've only got a short space of time here because obviously every time I try to do anything, the screen either goes black or it goes white, or I get some other issues. So I'm going to go into Device Manager and quickly check here to see what driver has been installed on the system. And it has got the latest driver from AMD on here. Now Windows has actually put this on the system, so it'll be Microsoft driver database which is actually downloaded and installed this driver for me. So I'm going to uninstall this and let it put it back to the default Windows driver, display driver, so I can work on the system. So let me restart the system. You can see I've still got that split screen here at the moment, but I'm just going to restart the system. But Windows should install the basic generic driver for the computer, so it will be a bit jerky, but you can see here now the screen has gone back to full display and we have no problem here. But the driver's not installed yet, it's just the default display driver that the system is using here. So now I know that it's possibly not a graphics problem like a hardware problem, it's probably a driver problem, which we're going to investigate a bit further here. So let's have a look here. Now if we had some sort of hardware issue, we probably would have sort of artifacts on the screen or some sort of issue here, but you can see the Microsoft basic display drivers already been installed here. Now the trouble with this sort of process is that Windows will automatically keep installing the latest driver. So what I'm going to do is go to the AMD website here and download the driver so I've got it onto the computer so I can then reinstall it myself. The problem is I need to stop Windows from installing the driver from their own servers, and the problem is here is I don't get much time to work with it. Now I am going to disable the driver installation here, and you can see the screen has now gone white again, so it doesn't give you a lot of time here. So I've restarted, and then I've got this other issue which now turns the whole desktop black, as you can see here. So we're getting the black screen of death on boot up, which is very frustrating. So let me try and resolve this by going into the BIOS here, and I'm going to reset this to default settings, and you can see here load optimal default settings. This is just in case there's a setting in here that it doesn't like. So I'm just going to quickly do this and we'll try again to get to the desktop, and hopefully we can resolve this problem. So I'm just going to do this and click F10 and save the optimized default settings and reboot the system. So what I'm going to do here is just quickly disable the device installation of drivers here by going here and disable that. Now what you could do is disconnect from the internet and also download the file from AMD's website on another computer, put that onto a flash drive and then copy it across to this computer and keep it off the internet. But I'm just going to go back on the internet here and see if I can do it this way just to show you. So I'm going to go to the AMD website here. Now because we're online, Microsoft will start to check everything and want to try to install that driver for that piece of hardware, and hopefully it doesn't install, but sadly it did keep doing that, which was causing me a massive problem. So like I said, the way to resolve that would not be on the internet and stop that from installing. So what we're going to do here is quickly download the software for the Radeon software here on the AMD website and get this downloaded. So once I've got this downloaded, what I can do is then check to make sure there's no other sort of driver remnants on the system and remove all of those to make sure that it's not causing any sort of conflict. So I'm going to go back into Device Manager here, and you can see here, lo and behold, it's installed that driver again. So I'm just going to delete all that content and remove it. And this process is a bit of a finicky sort of way. You can see we now got dual screen back up again because it keeps installing that driver. And this is why it's important never to allow Microsoft to install graphics drivers and drivers like that from their servers. You want to go to the AMD or Nvidia website and download the drivers from there and then install them. Now I'm going to show you a common thing that people will do, like I'm doing here, which is install the driver, and what will happen is Microsoft will install its driver in the background, and this is a common thing that happens. And then what happens is you'll end up with the same problem, and you'll get caught in this little loop where you're trying to resolve a problem, and it can be very frustrating. So you can see here, I'm going to go to the display settings here, and you can see we're still on the basic display driver. The screen went black, and automatically that has now been installed by Microsoft, and I'm still unpacking the driver, and then the screen goes white. It can be quite frustrating. So let me go back into the BIOS and make sure that we've got the integrated graphics set to forces, and I'm going to take it off of auto and put it on forces here. And then also we're going to go into the control panel and remove any of the Nvidia drivers if you have any that you had installed on the system. Now I know there was drivers already on this system which were from the graphics card that was installed on here. So I'm going to make sure they are removed from here just to make sure that they are not conflicting with any sort of installation process that Microsoft is trying to do. And this is another common problem with people where they don't clean out the drivers and don't remove previous drivers that are on the system. So just go through this process here and let this uninstall all these drivers here, because we don't want any sort of conflict between the two, because there are two different types of drivers that you're going to be using, and this can cause some weird things to happen on the computer. So we let that just remove those drivers because we are not using Nvidia anymore. And once we've done that, we can then go ahead and try to install the AMD driver. So what I'm going to do here is click on install. I've already got it downloaded. It's in my downloads folder here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to install this. So once this is done, we'll get this speeded up here. And there we go. So it's now starting to install. Now you'll see a different installation process because we're doing it manually, and you'll see a box popping up like this, whereas Microsoft doesn't give you this option. It just puts the display driver onto the system, which is obviously causing a conflict somehow. So I'm going to go ahead and restart the system now, and hopefully this has resolved the problem. So let that load in. And once we get this to the desktop, we should see now. I can already see the screen is full and we aren't getting a split screen anymore. So I'm just going to quickly put the background on here. There we go. And there we have our full screen display. And I can check the driver, and we should have the Radeon software installed on the system. And already I can see that we are now running okay. And that's basically how you can resolve that issue. Now, it is quite frustrating, and a lot of people will go through this same process. And these sort of APU, where they've got the CPU and the graphics built into one, can be a bit problematic to get installed and get it working properly. But hopefully, if you follow them steps, you should be all right. And this Vega graphics has been a bit of a mare for a few people I've seen on the internet. Black screen of death, also white screen, split screens, just like you're seeing here. And that's basically how you can do it. So I would just basically disconnect from the internet, try to download the driver on another computer, put it on a flash drive, plug it in a computer, and then install it, and you should be okay. Remove any sort of remnants for other drivers, and you should be good to go from there. But as you can see here, benchmark is working fine, no problems at all running benchmarks, and the graphics is fine. And it can lead you down the garden path and make you think there's something wrong with the hardware, and there's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, thanks again for watching. My name has been Brian from brateccomputers.co.uk. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you again for another fixed video real soon. Bye for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the big red subscribe button on my YouTube channel and hit the bell notification button next to that to be notified when we upload new videos.